Welcome everyone once again to my YouTube channel. I still remain with Jackie Douglas. Basically today taking you through Excel and how we can make report cards to come out with the calculations for total marks, average, get the position, grade and comment in Excel. So in our last presentation we did look at how we can open Microsoft Excel. Then we looked at the features in Excel and many others, but today we are upgrading to the next level. We want to see how we can perform various calculations in Excel, more so using these marks obtained by these learners. We want to come out with a grading scale, actually a good report card for these learners in the class. So Excel helps us to do a lot of things, like more so in calculations and many others, makes everything easier. So for total and average, we can either use formula or we can even use function to get them. That's why I'm having two options from them. Two options we can see. We have total into bracket formula and then total to bracket function. Then the same applies for average. Even the average you can get in two ways in Excel. We can either use formula or we use function. So those are the ways how we can come out with either average or total marks of these learners in Excel, either using formula or function. So I'll show you how we can gain them all in either way. So without wasting time, let us start calculating the total marks using formula for the first learner, that is Opio Bosco. So I will say equal sign, then I add the marks scored by this gentleman in mathematics to the marks scored by this gentleman in English, and then again to the marks scored by this gentleman in science, again to the marks scored by this very gentleman in SST. So what I do, I press enter and then it will give me the result. So for Excel there is no need for you to calculate for each and every individual step by step like we did for Opio Bosco. What you do, you just double click where there is this plus sign in dark at the corner of my total marks for the first learner. You double click, and for the rest of the learners it will just autofill automatically. That's how simply we can get the total marks using formula. Now let's see how we can get these very total marks for these learners using function. For the case of function, you just tap on your equal sign, because total is like the summation of some figures, so we are going to use a sum. We use sum, you type sum because we are summing up. Say sum, open bracket, we are getting the sum from this cell, which is cell D3, then we press colon to the last cell for this marks, which is the score in social studies. Then we close our bracket, we say enter. So we can see it's giving still the same results. So that's basically how we can do it. Very simple and makes work easier. Now let's see how we can get average marks using formula. For us to get average using formula, we know average is like you get the range. Average, we get the mainly here we shall use the total marks to get the average. We get the total marks of these learners dividing, and then we divide it by the number of subjects they have offered. That's basically what we do for average. So what we do is say equal to, that's using formula, equals to, we say the total marks of the first learner is in this cell, which is cell SL3, and then we divide it by the number of subjects this specific learner is offering. There are 4 subjects the learner is offering. Then you say enter. So as given as the average for this one, the first learner. So in the same way, to get the average of the rest of the members, we just double click where the plus sign is, then it will automatically fill for us the average of the learners. So that's simply how it is, and it's very simple and makes work easier. Now let's see how we can get average using function. For us to get average using function, we shall say equal sign, we type average, then we open bracket. We are getting average from the first marks in mathematics, which is in cell D3. We put colon to the last marks, which is in social studies. Then we close our bracket, and so you can see it's still giving us the same value, meaning that either way around we can still get the same answer. So that's basically how easy it is. Now let's see how we can get position of these learners. To get the position, it's all about ranking. We rank the learners according to the total marks they have scored. Then we at the end we shall come out with the first individual, the last, and those who are in the middle. So you see how we can do is a equal sign, rank, they are ranking, we open our bracket. Okay, ranking, we can either give position to learners in class using average, or we use the total marks. Still we get the same thing, but preferentially for now I will use their average. So the average of the first learner, which is in cell N3, and then we put comma because we are comparing his average with the average of the other members in the class. Then we see who is the best, so we have to put comma, then we highlight from that first individual up to the last. Then we close our bracket. Since we are doing comparison, and each and every individual we have to compare their average marks differently to come out with the best person in the class, followed by the second best, and so forth and so forth, we have to put $sign in between to give the differentiation. We put $sign in between n and 3, apply some $sign there, and then again in between n and 7 we apply $sign there, then we say enter. So the first person is in position 3, we can see. Shall prove whether it is correct. We can even see from there that it is true that the first person is in position 3. So that's how we basically do it. So before going to comment, let's see how we can do the grading in Excel. Do the grading. Before you start grading in Excel, you must make sure that you have your grading scale, because if you're grading, there should be a scale you put, like for distinction 1, distinction 2, something like that. So you have to come out with a grading scale. So what I do, I say equal sign. Basically here we use if function. I say if I open my bracket, comparing this first mark, if this first mark or this first individual is greater than 74, comma, then I say that is distinction 1, I close my quotation, comma again, if we come back, so we say if again this cell, which is D3, say if this cell is greater than, say if this cell is greater than from 75, say 69, comma, and then I give that one distinction 2, I close my quotation, comma, then I say if I open my bracket, this very cell, again is greater than this time around I say 64, comma, then I open my quotation, I give it credit, that is credit 3, then I close, comma again, if, open my bracket, say this very cell, we say if it is greater than this cell, it is greater than from 64 we say 59, comma, open my quotation, I give it credit 4, close, comma, if, open bracket, this very cell is greater than from 54 say 59 say 54, comma, open quotation, I say that is what, from credit 4 to credit 5, say that's credit 5, and then comma again, if this very cell, okay, one formula is missing, we missed out, open bracket, say if, open bracket, and then we say this cell D3 is greater than say 49, and then comma, we give that one credit 6, close, comma, say if, open bracket, say if this cell D3 is greater than, from 49 we say 44, comma, and then we give that one pass 7, comma, say if, open our bracket, this very cell is greater than 39, comma, then we give it pass 8, we close, comma, then we open quotation, because the last option is now for F9, so there is no logical unit we have to give, because the remaining option is now for F9. Just open quotation, then you say F9, and then you close your quotation, you count the number of brackets you have opened, and then you close that very time, say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, then say enter. Then we get our first grade for this person in social studies is distinction 1. For the distinction 1 now, for the rest of the learners we can autofill as usual. Now to get for the rest of the subjects, there is no need for you to again come out with another if function. What you do, you just copy and then you paste, you autofill. Again from here you copy and then you paste. What you do, you autofill, and then from here you copy again and then you paste. What you do, you autofill. So that's it, basically how easy it is to come out with the grading scale in in Excel. So now lastly, let us see how we can come out with comment in Excel. That's our last bit for today's discussion.